This video was sponsored by Card Kingdom. You can visit their store by using my referral link in the description below. Okay. This is not a great pack. You know, the Strangler's okay, but I don't really think you feel that good about first picking it. Eaten Alive's pretty good, but you need to have the right deck, sort of a deck with extra bodies to sacrifice for it to be at its best. I think we probably just take Clear Shot. I think it's better than Eaten Alive. I mean, you know, green's not an incredible color in this format. Black and blue are definitely, you know, the top tier colors, mostly just because of their commons. But I think we probably still take Clear Shot. You know, I think some people, you know, some other people who stream or talk about limited would say take Eaten Alive here. But I think I'm in on Clear Shot. You know, you can get serious blowouts with it at best, and at worst, it's generally a great removal spell. So. Okay, so I like Nebelgast Intruder a lot. It can turn into a removal spell, sort of a combat trick stapled to a creature. Turns out to be pretty good most of the time. And blue-green's a nice deck. It's one I hope to draft more of in this format. I think I've only drafted a couple times, but, you know, the self-mill deck is one of the more interesting ones in this format. Mostly because it's blue-green. We've seen a lot of, like, blue-black and black-green self-mill, but blue-green is kind of a new color pair for it, sort of, I guess. I guess there have been threshold decks, like in really old limited formats, but still. I'm taking Nebelgast Intruder here. The one green card is not very good, so. Okay. This card's real nice, but obviously, you know, we've taken cards that aren't in those colors, and I don't think it's so good that we want to take it over something else. Although I'm probably going to take an off-color card here anyway. The green cards here aren't especially good. You know, Bird Admirer is fine. The blue cards aren't great either. They're both fine. I think here we do take Eaten Alive. See if maybe black's a little open. It's a great removal spell. It's not super splashable, but I think it's still what we end up taking here. Thank you for the follow, Stealth Look and Icon UK. So we'll grab this Eaten Alive. Okay, so what do we have here? So there's an Eccentric Farmer, which is great in the self-mill deck. There's also Diregraph Rebirth, which, you know, if you end up in black-green is a pretty nice card. And it's kind of a fun card to splash in the blue-green deck because you can mill it into your graveyard and then flash it back. I think we probably take the Farmer here. It's been a huge overperformer. Somebody asked me that earlier in the stream. This is one of the big overperformers because it's like, I think I gave it maybe a C at best in my set review, and it's more like a build around B minus, and that's pretty serious. You know, it's very good at loading your graveyard, and I like that. I do like Revenge of the Drowned okay, but I like the Farmer more. Wow, Organ Hoarder, yes please. You don't see very many of these get to pick 5 anymore because it's an absurd card. Like, it feels like an uncommon easily, and even if this were a rare, it wouldn't be a huge shock. That's how strong it is. Foul Play's nice, but Organ Hoarder's just better, you know. The blue-green deck does seem to be making itself here. I think we take Shadow Beast Sighting. It's a good card in general, but the value you can get if you end up milling it or, you know, just being able to flash it back later is pretty good. So I think we take it here. Decent white cards here. Like, all 3 of these are playable white cards, but I think Shadow Beast Sighting is better or as good as all of them. And we've already got 2 green cards, so that's where we go. Okay, interesting. So Devoted Graphkeeper is great. We do have to end up in blue-white, basically, to play him, but he is great if you can do it. There's not enough fixing in this format to go straight up like, what would it be? Bant? It would be Bant. But, yeah, it would be cool. This isn't especially good, even though it's a rare in our colors that we're sort of looking at, so I'm not thrilled about it. We probably end up taking one of these 3 things. This does mill for you, but without the extra zombie bodies, it's not great. I think I'm leaning towards Cavalry. It's a decent thing to have at the top curve. Consider's fine. I think that's what we take here. The best card in this pack is probably either Neonate's Rush or Morning Patrol, but Consider's not bad, and I'm happy to take it there. This does mill us, but it's kind of late at doing it. I mean, it's not terrible at the top of the curve. These are all they're all decent blue cards. None of them are great. None of them are definitely making the cut in our deck. So which one do I want? I mean, I think we already have a 5 that's just better than Candlelit Cavalry. I'm kind of leaning towards Consider. You can cut a land in your deck once you have 2 Considers, and that definitely matters. So I think that's what we're going to take there. This is a pretty late crawl from the cellar for the zombie deck. Larder Zombie's not bad. We do need some early plays, and we don't have any. I think we probably just grabbed the Larder Zombie. So I think Geist Wave is better than Bounding Wolf. Especially with, like, Eccentric Farmer. Okay, well, this wheeled, and that makes things interesting. If we end up with the right composition, we can splash it pretty easily. We did pass some fixing, but... Man, so this guy's strong. I mean, he really powers black-red decks, powers them up insanely. I mean, if he doesn't die, he just wins you the game, generally speaking. So that's a good card for somebody. Not really for us. I think I like Outland Liberator the best here. You know, there aren't a ton of artifacts and enchantments in the format, but it's still a 2-mana 2/2 that can be a 3/3 sometimes, and that's just a decent card. I do like the Observer okay. Secrets of the Keys, not bad. We've already got 2 Considers. These are okay green cards, but the Liberator is really good. And I think probably just the second best card in this pack after Florian. So it's a nice pick here. I do like Lunar Frenzy, too, but... only in the very aggressive decks, obviously. Okay, I probably just grabbed the Abomination. You know, it's at its best, of course, in blue-black, but, you know, it's a good card in any deck. The 2 bodies are nice. It's a flyer. Broodweaver's not bad, but I like Falcon Abomination more. More than Pestilent Wolf, too. So this is an interesting card if one is self-milling, because sometimes you do need this if you're really good at it. Like, I had a 4 Eccentric Farmer deck where I was like, yeah, I'm going to play one of these. Because it let me shuffle, like, cards back in, too, so I could draw them again, and that was cool. So this is interesting. Infernal Grasp is amazing. Right now, we don't have any fixing, but it is great. The blue cards here are okay. You know, Secrets of the Key, Gale Drifter, Flip the Switch. They're all fine. I'm kind of leaning towards taking the Grasp and trying pretty hard to splash a 3rd color. And the Rejuvenator would help with that. Maybe it'll wheel. That'd be cool. So I think I grab the Grasp and see what happens here. Okay. Well, I think we just grab another Outland Liberator here. Nice 2-drop. Better than Gale Drifter. You know, this card's funny because in most formats I think it would be quite good. But this format has so much graveyard recursion that's just better that it's not that great. It's perfectly fine. We ended up going 5-3, Tuna, unfortunately. We started out 5-0 and then dropped 3 in a row. So, yeah, ooh. This is what we're looking for. So, it's pretty tempting to get the Rejuvenator, but this card is kind of important for this deck. It's a thing you can mill. It helps you stabilize against faster opponents. It's really good in this deck. And I think we take it over Rejuvenator. You know, Locked in the Cemetery is not bad, but I think Rise of the Ants is a pretty key uncommon for this deck, so we're just going to grab it, snatch it up there. Okay, we'll take a good 2-drop. I mean, he's not super exciting, but he is a 2-drop. So, yeah, not much for us here. This might just be a rare draft pack because I'm literally not playing any of these cards. I guess if I splash black, there's a tiny chance we play the Ghoul, but it's so hard to effectively splash for that many cards that I think I'm just going to take the rare because of gems here, which is not something I normally do, but this pack is so not useful for us that I think it's what we wanted to do. All right, so Observer, Gale Drifter, Consider. I think at this point we're interested in the Observer. It can ramp us into Rise of the Ants, for example, and that's nice. Yeah. It's also a 2-drop, and we could use those. I guess we're going to take Snarling Wolf here. Curve looks okay so far. So Rejuvenator did not come back. This does load your graveyard, but right now we're not that good at doing it, so I think I'd probably just rather have a Broodweaver. We're not that good at taking advantage of loading the graveyard, is what I mean to say. So I think that also means we probably just want Gale Drifter here, which is fine. I mean, I didn't want to take it earlier, but taking it there is not bad. I think the Sentry is a better 2-drop overall. So I don't think we're splashing black. Things would have to really go our way here if we were going to do that. in this last pack. We'll leave the rebirth here to remember we have it, because that matters some. So I think we just grab another farmer here. That lines us up with a second pretty nice self-mill effect. Yeah. So, Teferi's quite good. If I had good fixing, I'd probably take him, but he's not really a bomb. You know, he falls short of that. So I don't think we take him here, especially because we've also got a Root Coil Creeper, which also gives us fixing, in addition to rebuying flashback stuff and doing all kinds of cool stuff. So it's definitely what we take. Teferi is cool, and it would be cool to play with him, but I think even if I had fixing, I'd probably take the Root Coil Creeper, just because it's something we really need for this deck. He's just not a bomb, you know. He needs the board built up around him, and he can take over the game. He doesn't do it on his own, and that does hold him back a bit. So this card's pretty good, Lord of the Forsaken. I don't love Dryad's Revival, and if we decide we want one, it probably comes back. So I think we're looking at Shadow Beast Sighting versus Baithook Angler here. They're both pretty good in this deck, and just good cards in general. We've got a lot of 2s already. I'm trying to decide if I like Shadow Beast Sighting more here. I do like the Angler a fair bit, but I think another Shadow Beast Sighting is something we're more interested in. Yeah. Another Diregraph Rebirth. Right now, splashing black off of what we have isn't a great plan, because all we have is Root Coil Creeper. So I don't think we take another Rebirth here. We also don't have anything that great to reanimate, so. How many spirits do we have? 2. Not a lot. I probably just grab Locked in the Cemetery here. Decent removal spell. We'll take it. Oh, man. Another Organ Hoarder. So, Evolving Wilds is tempting, but I don't think it's tempting enough. I think Organ Hoarder is just that good that I just take it here. I mean, Evolving Wilds is great, too, with our Eccentric Farmers, but I think we still take Organ Hoarder. It loads our graveyard, draws us cards. It's a 2-for-1. It's just an insane card, so we'll take it. I would love to pick up another one. That would be cool. So, we don't have a ton of removal. Do we just want another Locked in the Cemetery? Yeah, probably. Over an Observer. Yeah. Ooh. Interesting. So I've really wanted to play with this, but how much do I have? Man, I wish this was an earlier pick so I had more time to figure this out. So, I don't think we have enough, I would say, so far. I mean, we've definitely got it, but it's not enough to power Ominous Roost. It does have serious upside, but I don't think we're going to be able to meet that upside. But I kind of hope we do. So, it's not going to happen, though. Okay, so Harvesttide Sentry. I definitely like it more than Gale Drifter overall. Gale Drifter fits better with our deck's theme, though. And we have a lot of 2s already. I think another creature with that ability, the Disturb, is good. We'll grab another Observer now. Blue-green was definitely open here. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, getting this late of a Baithook Angler is a good indicator of that. Probably not playing 2 of those. Probably not playing that at all. Deck seems pretty good. I mean, what it could have used is some crazy bomb. But I feel reasonably okay about it overall. We're probably... I'm going to be less inclined to cut lands in this deck now. So that may mean we just cut Consider in the first place. I mean, we're not a spell deck. It does load our graveyard a little, but it's not like it's great at it. So I think that's probably, you know, kind of an underwhelming card to cut. We don't really need Larder Zombie that much either. It does also load our graveyard, I suppose, and that matters. That does matter. The thing is, though, we have 2 Eccentric Farmers and 2 Organ Hoarders, which are just way better at doing it than any of our other things are. I don't think we're that interested in Geist Wave. I think we cut the Considers. I think we probably leave Larder Zombie in, but we'll see. Storm Rider Spirit, I don't think we're super interested in that in this deck. Another Rise of the Ants. If you can get 2 Rise of the Ants in this deck, that tends to be a pretty good deck. Especially if you have ways to ramp into it. Like we have 2 Observers and a Root Coil Creeper, so playing this on turn 5 from our hand isn't that hard, and even flashing it back isn't that hard. So yeah, we need to cut 3 more cards. Do we need Reach desperately? I mean, sort of. We have flyers, but not so many that I don't want Broodweaver. I don't know why people just want to cut Timberland Guide so often. I think it's a really underrated card. Yeah, the 1-drop Wolf is not great. I mean, we have a few cards in this deck that are maybe a little more aggressive than we want. So this channel on Twitch only has, I only do limited. But on my YouTube channel, I talk about the history of Magic, constructed formats, and everything else. So, and that's called Need to Hone Magic. I do top 10 lists. I do a weekly video on, most recently I did one on the history of fairy decks, for example. So yeah, I think we cut the wolf. I mean, the Weaver's not great. I mean, that is a fact. But I'm a little worried about flyers. I'm not, gonna completely get wrecked by them, but they're not something we can deal with that effectively. Thank you for the follow, HF Burticus and 6T4T. We do have a lot of 2s. They're all pretty nice, though. I think I would cut Harvesttide Sentry in this deck before I would cut Timberland Guide. Mostly because, we're not really an aggro deck. And this is a very aggressive card, so... Yeah, cutting 2/2-drops isn't a bad plan. We don't want to cut Observer in this deck at all. When we have Shadow Beast Sightings that we can play on turn 3 and Rise of the Ants we can play on turn 5, Observers are pretty good. I think Harvesttide Sentry is more subpar. God, maybe it is just the guide in this particular deck. I mean, I do like it a lot. Would I rather have it than Larder Zombie? Probably not in this. Yeah, probably not. It probably is the guide, which is a bummer. I do like that card. It's definitely better in green-white and stuff like that, but it just, yeah. I just like that it does a thing all game long that matters. All right. Someday, Ominous Roost, someday. You have my favorite art in the whole set. You're my favorite card in the whole set. And I've lost to you twice, but I haven't played with you myself. And this deck didn't quite get there. All right, this deck looks solid to me. Doesn't look like a world beater exactly, but I think 4 or 5 wins is believable. I think that is a very possible thing. Thank you for the follow, Japa. Our last 2 decks haven't had a single rare in them. But, we do have 2 Organ Hoarders and 2 Farmers. So, high quality commons. Thank you for the follow, KLM 1187 and Wordless. All right, this looks pretty good to me. Don't love it when my opponent plays a turn 1 Lunarch Veteran. Okay. Player Liberator. Well, they must be desperate to draw a land because... Okay, yeah, that's not really how you want to win, but... Okay. Seems a little premature. Just a little premature. I forgot to open up chat again on my phone. Okay. It was a close football game. It didn't look like it was going to be hefty lefties. Didn't look like it was going to go that way. Considering OU was down 28-7 at the end of the first quarter, and I was kind of despondent at the point of saying if they score another touchdown, I'm going to stop watching. But yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, even if we didn't miss our third land drop, they were only in danger of missing one. And we didn't have a power play or anything on our turn. I mean, we were going to play our farmer, which is, you know, perfectly fine, but it's not amazing. That's for sure. Thank you for the follow. Half a linger. All right, this, you know, turn 2 Liberator, turn 3 Farmer works for me. I wonder if we should have been more aggressive with Evolving Wilds. I mean, we took, like, Oregon Hoarder over it, so I don't think we wanted to be. But, yeah. Well, look who can rumble as a 3-3. So we're going to play our Farmer. There is a chance we whiff, but there's a decent enough chance we... I mean, we don't even desperately need the land, but there's a decent chance. Oh, wow. We did whiff and milled 2 of our best cards. That's pretty rough. I still think we want to do it in that situation. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, we're going to kill it, but, well, we don't even necessarily have to kill it. I think we actually just attack with Frenzied Trap Breaker. And then play Shadow Beast Sighting. Well, yeah, if they don't block, we kill it. Although, what they want to do right here is block, most likely. And then they can get it back later. I mean, they're in black-green, so getting it back later is a real possibility. Man. Yeah, that person scooping when they did would be like OU giving up yesterday when they were down 28-7. I don't know how many more times I'm going to talk about that, but... So... Do I want to kill it? Do I just want to trade? I think we're okay with a trade. I think they are too. So... Then we play our sighting. Nice. Okay. Well... I think now we probably use Clear Shot. It's too bad we didn't mill. Like, we milled 2 of our best cards and then also didn't mill anything that does something from the graveyard. Which is kind of rough. Oh no, they're going to take our Shadow Beast Sighting. That's not good. It's not going super well. I did not watch the draft portion of the World Championship. Yet, at least. I didn't do it. Mostly because college football. So yeah, we're going to attack with that. I'm going to play Bait Hook Angler. So we need to stop drawing lands. We have them at 6, which looks really good, but they've got 4 cards in their hand, a Shadow Beast Sighting in their graveyard. So it's not as good as it looks. Willowgeist would have been sweet in our deck. Flyer's nice. I think I swing with my Angler and my 4/4 here. See what goes down. Could be some clear shot shenanigans. That would be bad. But we don't really have the choice to like hang back and wait for this game to calm down. Yeah, I think they're going to clear shot this and kill our 4/4. Oh, that makes sense. You drop them to 4, and we play a flyer. So it's not a complete disaster. I don't know if there is a VOD of the World Championship stuff from yesterday available yet. I do not know. There will be ultimately, but yeah, that's not good. All right, so we're gonna need some help here to. All right, we're gonna pass the turn. Got to punch through 4 damage somehow. So I could block with the Angler. But I feel like that would be a little too slow at this point. Ooh, that's a good draw. Interesting. Okay. I like it. Alright, so we're going to pass our turn. Rise of the Ants would be pretty good, but it wouldn't even be, like, amazing. It would help us stabilize, of course, but... So they get back Evolving Wilds here, most likely. Still don't have anything that can block flyers, so that's good news. All right, so we're going to block the 4. We're going to play... Oh, I screwed that up. Oh, no, I didn't, because I don't want to block with this anyway. Play Nebelgast Intruder. And make this only do 1. So we've got to find a way to do enough damage to them before they do enough damage to us. Doesn't look super promising right this second, and drawing that does not help our cause. So they've got... They have too much damage over there. Rise of the Ants would have been great there. Would have gained us life, given us 2 bodies. I think we're dead, because... 3, 5, 7, 11, 15, 17, 19, and only be able to block 1 thing. So yeah, we dead. I mean, the only way I'm not dead is if I leave a blocker back. But if I leave a blocker back, I'm also gonna be dead. That might still be our best move. Got to take into account they can add damage to the board, too. Yeah. It's going to take 3, 5, 7, 9. So I go to 1 here. It's not worth it. Stupid zombie token that can't block. Oh, actually, the Geist is going to get bigger, too, because they're going to exile a thing. Yeah, we're dead. We be dead. Geist gets bigger, counter there. Yeah, there was no coming back from that. I think Rise of the Ants was basically our only out there. I don't think there was really anything else that could have done it. I guess Organ Hoarder could have let us double spell. I guess there were a few things that might have allowed us to get there, but that Willow Geist getting bigger and having trample and all of that made that a bit of a problem. Yeah, I mean, maybe attacking, just attacking was the best move there. Since we knew we were dead anyway, or should have known. Thank you for the follow, Wolfgar and Samuel Vigas. This is a good hand. So, yeah, we're going to keep 7. I'd probably play the Angler. I mean, there's a chance I draw one of our Shadow Beast sightings on turn 3, and being able to play that on turn 3 does tend to feel pretty good. But I think the Angler's ability to be a great trade is probably a little more worthwhile. I'm going to rumble here. I'm sure they just take it. Then I think we probably... I guess Farmer is probably the good play. I mean, the problem is they could have flipped the switch. So I probably play around it because I can, thanks to our Intruder. Yeah. Yeah. We'll play around the flip. So they could still flip here. They could also use Devious Cover-Up, stuff like that. But I think we're happier to make them do it on their turn than on our turn. So, all right. I guess they don't have flip the switch. Works for me. Just outright killing that thing is obviously awesome. So, okay. Rumble in the air. You know, I think we just play another flyer here, as nice as Organ Hoarder might be. I think we just play another flyer. Up the clock in the air on them. Okay. So we're just going to take that 3, obviously. We do not have 5 cards in our graveyard. We don't even have any, weirdly. We can make ourselves get 4 right now, but that's not quite enough. I think I'd probably just attack with these 2 here. So now the question is whether I would like to just recast Gale Drifter or do something more. If I play the Farmer, I'll be able to play Locked in the Cemetery a little more effectively next turn, because Gale Drifter is also in the graveyard. So I think Eccentric Farmer into Observer, although that means we don't want to get a land back. Oh no, it only mills 3 cards. So, maybe Organ Hoarder is just a better bet. Probably is. Okay, another Locked in the Cemetery. Outland Liberator doesn't do much for us. I think another Locked in the Cemetery seems pretty solid. And we can recast Shadow Beast Sighting later in the game, so... This dude is going to get Vigilance again this turn, probably, because they'll cast Homestead, whatever. But... that's okay. If he would actually tap, Locked in the Cemetery would be pretty nice, but if they give it Vigilance again, it won't. Okay. I think we're down with that. Oh, except he still didn't attack us, obviously. So... Alright, so now we can Farmer and Locked in the Cemetery, though. That seems pretty good. Yeah. We could even get a land back, right? Because he'll mill 3, yeah. And we'll go ahead and grab a forest. I think this turn we actually use it on the flyer. Although, no, we don't. We use it on the outrider. And then we attack with Organ Hoarder. All right. So, attacking the Cemetery in certain matchups isn't too bad. I mean, it's always decent. But it's actively good in any matchup where they're not in a sacrificey color pair. Problem is, blue-black and black-white, and to a lesser extent, any blue deck and any black deck has ways to sacrifice stuff. So, yeah. Thank you for the follow, Boring Robe and A-Rock 901. And also Samuel Villegas. All right. Hey, Baldric. Seems solid. I would like to go first one of these days, but, you know. I wish Locked in the Cemetery was better. You know, and when I get in my opening hand like this, I like cross my fingers I'm not playing against blue-black, and that's not encouraging. That is not good. I had a bad feeling when I saw it in my hand, and the Awakener... I mean, it's not utterly useless, but it's way powered down in a format with things... So many sack effects. And... Yeah. No 2-drop would be cool. We aren't that lucky. So they're going for all kinds of sacrifice value here. We'll play our Angler. Putting Locked in the Cemetery on a tapped Ecstatic Awakener isn't like the worst plan in the world, but it's also not a great one. So, you know. Don't think we want to do it. I think just playing our Angler was better. So if he attacks here... Okay, he does not. They're kind of lucky, because if they hadn't hit a 1-1, a 1 creature, this would have been a 0-0. They only milled 1 card. I mean, I guess the idea was, at worst, they'd get a 2-2 token, and they could sack it, I guess. Anyway, so I think we attack with the Angler here. If they block, we use Nebelgast Intruder. If they don't block, we don't use Nebelgast Intruder. I don't think they're going to block. So, and in that case, I think we play Abomination. Huh. Attacking with the Awakener I get. Attacking with Stick Fingers makes less sense. I do think I'm going to block it. I think maybe their plan is to just sack it anyway. So they're just like, I'm going to attack with it. There are some tricks and stuff that could get us. You know, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk at all. Yeah, they're going to sack it anyway. So I'm not going to take the 1 damage. Blocking it would maybe open me up to like Blade Brand or... any kind of nonsense like that. And that would not have been good. No, the rare mill only mills one card. So if you hit a non-creature, you don't get any. It doesn't have to be. Wait, you're right. It does mill creatures. Yeah, until you reveal. You're right. So they would have done it either way. Good call. So I think we just let our zombie token die here. We're not a deck that's that good at using them. So I think we just rumble here, hit them for 6. And then do I want to play my Farmer or my leave up mana for Nebelgast? Probably just leave up mana for Nebelgast. It's not going to cause any serious problems, but it'll like prevent some damage while adding to the board still. So I think I'm okay with that. So Stick Fingers would have hit one creature no matter what. That is correct. Alright, so I think we flash in the Intruder here. We're probably going to stick Locked in the Cemetery on that thing on our next turn, since it's already tapped after all. That's what makes this card so good, is like, if it was just pay 3 mana 2/1, flash it in, prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to you, already be a good card. However, sometimes it can completely wreck combat for your opponent. And when you do that, it just feels absurd. In this case, you're just like, this is a pretty good deal. You know, I'd play that. I had a feeling we might be seeing one of those. Okay. That does make our lives significantly more difficult. I need 5 cards in my graveyard for Locked in the Cemetery to tap a thing. And I'm closer to that now, but I think I probably still want to grab a land here. I mean, we need mana in this deck, so... Yeah, yeah, so I think I put Locked in the Cemetery on the Demon, and then they'll probably stop attacking us. I could wait until I get the mana but to use it on the Collector, but I think this is fine. Guess I should have played the island they know about. That would have been the smart play there. Yeah, see, that doesn't feel great for us. I mean, you know, it could be worse, but it does not feel good. I can blow up Ghoulish Procession. Not sure that's going to matter, but I can do it. So, we need to find another Locked in the Cemetery for that Behemoth, basically. Or we're, like, dead, so that would be good. It's so risky to try and triple block that thing. I don't think we do it. Like, any removal spell, so many things just wreck us. We have Clear Shot, but we don't have anything big enough to take down the Behemoth. So it pretty much has to be our other Locked in the Cemetery. Yeah, that's not Locked in the Cemetery. Well, I think we're probably dead. I think we're probably dead. They just swing out here. Yeah. I've seen more today, like, I guess this deck's probably just splashing Stick Fingers, which I guess we would have liked, probably, as a splash. But I've seen more of it today than I have so far in this format. Okay. I think they should just swing with all. I guess if something... I guess I have a card in my hand, And if something goes wrong, I like kill them on the backswing. So maybe the risk's probably not worth it. They're in command of the game. There's no reason for them to like get wrecked potentially. I mean, we know we can't do it, but they don't know that. Yeah. Okay. They did decide to do it in the end, didn't they? Do we have a way to not die? I don't think we do. So we have to block this, and we have to assign 2 blockers to it. Okay. Then we'll block here. And there. I think we actually do survive. I mean, we have to block ugly and go to 1. But it kind of works out. Thank you for the follow, Saprazogi and Newboard. Yeah. So I could blow up the procession, but I think we need the body more than we care about that. Rise of the Ants wouldn't be too bad here. I don't think it would be enough because of that stupid behemoth, but... Man, we're drawing lands in crunch time. That'll do it unless we can fake them out with the 2 cards in our hand. And I don't think we can, so. Worth a try, though. Okay, well now it's even less likely. Now it's even less likely. I will go ahead and blow up your enchantment in response, though. And then I'll scoop. It is annoying that they get a 2/2. Alright, so we're 2-2. I did, you know, my prediction with this deck was I was thinking it could be a 4 or 5 win deck, so I wasn't super high on it. Doing much worse than 3-3 would probably be underperforming, though, I would think. All right, so we're finally going first, but we have a very slow hand. I mean, we keep it, but... It is a bummer to not have one of our 2-drops. Hey! Wow. Okay, so we can play Shadow Besiding next turn. That's a pretty spicy play. And I think it's what we do. I mean, we're foregoing 2 damage, but a turn 3, 4/4 is a pretty big deal. And then next turn we can play Candlelit Cavalry, so... Yeah. Especially when we're the ones on the play, a turn 3, 4/4 is pretty monstrous. Okay, so I could decide to do extra damage here as opposed to play the cavalry, but I think playing the cavalry on turn 4 is really great too. And we might be able to flash this back next turn. So we're going to go ahead and attack. And then we'll play the cavalry here. Drawing an interactive spell would be nice this next turn, but they don't have anything. That's the only thing they have that can block right now. This is going to gain trample, which is going to be nice. They could have defenestrate. I mean, there's a few things they could do here to interfere with our plans, but I think we leave back the Root Coil Creeper here and just swing with the 2 big boys. And then we can play... Maybe I just play Gale Drifter? Okay, well, that's a 2-for-1 in our favor, so we're not too broken up about it. Holding on to a big creature would have been kind of nice, but, you know, what are you going to do? So I think we play Farmer Liberator here. Yeah. I think we go Farmer... Nice. It's kind of awkward we didn't hit a land since we hit 2 cards with flashback that are expensive. But hopefully eventually we can do things with them. Glad you're enjoying the stream, Newborg. One more land and we can start flashing stuff back, so see what happens there, but that's why it was kind of a bummer not to hit a land with our farmer. That again, huh? Hey, land. Okay. If I swing out here... I mean, it's definitely not worth swinging out. I think we just attack with our 4/4. Yeah. Then the question is... I mean, I can play Gale Drifter and Baithook Angler, and going wide against them is pretty real on this board. So I think more bodies is better than a 4/4. So yeah. One more mana and we can flashback Rise of the Ants, which would be nice. I can actually return it to my hand with its weird effect, but... Let's see what happens here. Can they not die? Oh, that's a bummer. I think they're still dead, but... It's always heartbreaking to get your stuff exiled. Hey, we can actually cast Rise of the Ants now, too. So if we swing out here, they've got 2 blockers, and they take 8? Yeah. These things cannot block. So double checking the math here. But they block the 2 big things, biggest things, which would be a 4/4. They can't block this, so they're only able to block a 4 and a 2, so they take 3, 5, 7, 9, yeah. So we swing out here. Even Root Coil Creeper joins the fun. All right. I'm not a big fan of that Interloper in any deck that is not the black-red deck. And that's partly why, like, if you're a black-green deck like they are, you're, like, kind of a mid-rangey or slow deck, and a card like that just doesn't make sense. I mean, it definitely chipped in for some damage, but its inability to block, you know, as the game got longer was a liability for sure. You need to be real aggressive for that card to make sense. This looks solid. I'm liking the slow start that isn't something you usually see from a red deck. I guess we go with Liberator here. Good chance whatever we play dies when our opponent has red mana, but... Flame Channeler. Yeah, that's annoying. So we're going to swing here. They could have a burn spell to transform it. They do not. Do I want to play my farmer? There's a chance of whiffing, but it's also going to help us set up Locked in the Cemetery. And it's decently likely to mill things with Flashback or Disturb. So I think we play it. It's also a 2-3, which matters. Yeah, so we hit a Shadow Beast sighting. We do hit our land drop, which making sure we hit number 5 is good. Well, it's looking like we're going to get a little lucky here. They could have... There's a chance that they have a trick here, a burn spell to blow us out. Like if we attack, they do 3 to this, and then block this with the 3/3, since this will transform. And I think we can play around that without getting completely wrecked. Yeah, I mean, I think we just attack with the 3/3 here. Go a little cautious. Yeah, they would have wrecked us. That way they just get to kill the thing. They don't get any additional value, so... Now we'll play Organ Hoarder, which will help us fill up our graveyard the rest of the way. We definitely want the Creeper here. So the bad news is all their burn spells basically draw them cards now. So that's not ideal. Alright, so we're going to rumble here with Organ Hoarder. Chipping in for 3 is good. So with Rise of the Ants in our hand... I think we probably play Root Coil Creeper and Unblinking Observer to help us set up our mana pretty well. Yeah. Playing a 2/4 with Reach isn't exactly a thing right now. Yeah, so they're missing out on their blue. They did hit it with Electric Revelation there, but I think they're in a whole bunch of trouble. So I could use Locked in the Cemetery to tap it down and swing for 3, 5, 7, 9. So right now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I guess Locked in the Cemetery actually makes sense. And then we can still cast Rise of the Ants. Yeah. So let's lock it in the Cemetery. 2, 4. Yeah, we have to leave these 2 back, but chipping in for 5 and then casting Rise of the Ants is pretty gross. I think, you know, we could have swung all for sure, but I think leave the Manic dudes back and make 2 3/3s was pretty gross. Especially because now, next turn, we can just cast it again. Yeah. Getting the Creeper early in that game changed things around for us drastically. Oh, wait, that wasn't the game where we got it early. That was the other one. But it worked either way. All right, so we got to 4. That's good. I am satisfied with a 4 win with this deck. I mean, it's definitely not a bad deck, but the lack of... I mean, it has synergy. That's good. But the lack of a powerful rare, you know, that can cost you a win. At least 1 win sometimes. We just have really good commons and uncommons, though, and that's going pretty well. So we can keep this. I mean, we'd love blue, but the fact we can play most of our stuff, and this has a good chance at finding us blue, makes me pretty happy. Yeah, I think green-blue's probably my favorite deck in this format, but it is sort of... I've seen it... I had that video I did recently where I ranked the archetypes, and I was like... Okay, going down a card there works for me. But with blue-green, I had it in, like, the top part of the second tier. But I also said, sometimes it feels like it's, like, near the bottom, and sometimes it feels like it's really close to being top, the very top, but... So... You know, playing the farmer is tempting because it uses our mana more effectively, and that might just be what we do. Yeah, I think we'll do it. You know, you can end up whiffing, which sucks, but I'm okay with it. Thank you for the follow, Chillakmite and Kluwer some. Nice. So, you know, I don't hate milling Rise of the Ants. Obviously. It's like drawing a card. Yeah, that's not good. Luckily, we can double spell to make it a little less scary. But yeah. I could just play Shadow Beast Sighting, but I think forcing them to grow it again is probably pretty good. And if they decide to pass the turn, I end up with 2 4/4s. So, 3 3s, I mean. Yeah. I like blue-red, too. I think I like it more than most people, but it definitely takes some work. Like, you need uncommons like this to make it really work. This and, like, the one that makes a token with trample equal to the number of spells in your graveyard / flashback cards in exile. So they're just going to pass again. I mean, it makes sense for them to. So fine. Just because I don't have any good attacks, so. Do I just want to play a big creature? Decent chance they have counter magic here, but... And maybe because of that, I decide to just double spell here again. Yeah, we can afford to play around it, so I think we will. There's basically no way we can attack through that thing, so we need to find... We definitely need to find answers for it. So our opponent has the uncommons you want, unfortunately for us. That's what I was talking about. The Seize the Storm. I think we just play a big creature. It's tempting to play the Creeper and try to set up Rise of the Ants. We just need to draw land. But if we don't draw that land, we're in pretty bad shape. So I think we just play the big creature. End our turn. Uh-oh. Yeah, they've got the goods. I think it's safe to say. Okay, clear shot's good. It would be better if this hadn't just shrunk to a 2/2, but I think we'll play our creeper here and pass the turn. Ugh. That sludge monster's going to attack, and it's going to make me pretty sad. But we kind of have to live with it. So I could use Clear Shot here to kill the painter before it grows. I could also potentially use it in combat, though, to do something a little spicier. I think we're going to just let this happen. Okay, interesting. I mean, we have a decent board, but I'm a little surprised they're not attacking more. Alright, so we can Rise of the Ants here. I think that's probably what we want to do. We can then rebuy it with our Creeper later in the game, which is cool. They're running out of gas is the good news. Okay. So... we can do Shadow Beast Sighting plus Clear Shot, and I think that's probably what we do. And kill the sludge monster. I guess I can attack first, but it's not... yeah, it's not... that's not a great attack, so I don't think we do. If I get rid of the sludge monster, this goes back to being a 5/5, too. Oh, they have a way to interact. That's a bummer. Okay. I knew there was a chance they had a way, but I was hoping they were just holding a land. So I can get Rise of the Ants back at some point, which is obviously pretty nice. We can start surveilling a bunch, which is also going to be pretty good for us, I think. So, yeah, we'll pass the turn here. Start using Larder Zombie's ability to find us actual things. We're going pretty effectively wide here. Which is good. I wish they weren't at 20, but... I think we probably want that. I mean, they don't have any flyers, so I think it's a safe bet that we wanted that. So I can get back Rise of the Ants at this point, and I have so much mana that it's probably worth it. Three, four, five. I guess I can't cast it this turn, so there's no point in doing it right away, so I'll wait. I don't have quite enough mana to get it back, cast it. Yeah. So, I think we just pass here. Leave up our Intruder. Yeah, I definitely could have waited a turn to do it if he was tapped out. It's true, in response. No guarantee they were going to tap out is the thing, but yeah. So, yeah, I think we flash in the flyer. We don't get any real value out of it, but I think we do it. And then we're going to sack this to get back Rise of the Ants. And then we're going to Larder Zombie. We're going to decline. We would like to draw that. So we're going to attack with Nebelgast Intruder here. I think we just play Rise of the Ants again. Not Organ Hoarder. If they have a counterspell, it has flashback, so I'm not exactly broken up about it. So, pretty soon we're going to be able to attack them with all pretty effectively, especially if they keep drawing blanks. Fingers crossed. So, yes, put that. I guess if we can draw it, we can flashback Rise of the Ants. I don't hate that. That's actually probably fine. Yeah, so still can't really attack all, but I think maybe next turn we'll be able to after we get 2 more ant tokens. Maybe they counter the flashback version, but I'm not too alarmed if they do that. Where are they using that on? Ah, our Intruder. That's fine. We're going to be able to swing out this turn unless they draw something amazing. We probably want to draw that. So we're at 24. They're at 16. They've got one card in their hand, and we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 attackers. They'll block 4 of the 3 power creatures, but then take 3, 5, 7, 10, 12. 16 exactly is what we have. And the reason I think I'm going to do this is that I then can play both Organ Hoarders. So even if they do something here to not die, we'll be able to get our shields up enough to not die in the backswing. So I think that means they're dead. Yeah. If they had a way to interact there, they might have been able to get us and make us take another turn, but they did not. Yay, ants. Good old ants. Okay. Two-lander is a little rough, especially, it wouldn't be super rough if we didn't also have 2 of our most expensive cards in our hand. Thank you for the follow, Tofts and Morris. Not to mention Chilagmite. I don't think I mentioned you earlier. So it's probably a mulligan. It just goes way too poorly. I mean, even if we just draw a 3rd land, it's not going to really be enough to keep us going. So, all right, this is definitely better. God, what do I send back? Probably the Observer, I guess. I like the card, but these are way better. They set up or locked in the cemetery. I mean, I think that's the route we have to take there. Glad you're enjoying the stream, Tofts. Also have a YouTube channel for any of you who aren't familiar with me. Need to Hone Magic. This will be a draft video, for example, when it goes up, but also I do a bunch about Magic history, top 10 videos, deck histories, stuff like that. So we're going to play our farmer here. Nice. That's a nice couple, you know, Larder Zombie's nice. It actually paid off pretty significantly in our last game, but we didn't mill anything big, and we make sure we hit a land drop, and I can't be too upset about that. Yeah, I also do a weekly video talking about Limited in addition to draft videos. I kind of think we can attack here. And then play Organ Hoarder. We're down with that trade. I mean, we'll take that trade all day long. Let's play our Organ Hoarder here. So, Shadow Sighting has flashback, but I think we're at a point in the game where just casting it and flashing it back later is better. And another farmer isn't really necessary right now. So we've already got our graveyard loaded up enough. I mean, another farmer would be nice. It might mill more stuff, but I think taking the siding there makes sense. But yeah, I put out a lot of content on the YouTube channel. They had to do that on their own turn. We've had some serious luck. Our opponents have had rough situations, and that has definitely helped us. Do I want a flyer? I think just a big creature is probably better. So next turn we can Rise of the Ants. Yeah, I do set reviews every time there's a new set. Believe it or not, we're not that far away from another set review right now, which is insane, but that's how they did these two sets 2 months apart. Yeah, our opponent is in rough shape, and I feel bad for them. That doesn't mean I'm, you know... We've all been in rough shape and been crushed by an opponent. It's part of the game. So we're going to play Rise of the Ants in our second main phase here. It's rough to have to use Lunar Frenzy that way. Yeah, and then we Rise of the Ants. Pretty key card in this deck. We're really lucky, you know, we picked one up pretty late that I think has played a large role in pulling our deck together. Yeah, I mean, make it so it can trade. I feel like I may as well block because it'll just block when I attack, and this way I don't take 3 damage. So, you know, yeah, we'll just block it. Rumble for 7. Yeah, and then going wide here is pretty good. If they have burned down the house, that would be a little bit of a bummer, but I still think we could probably recover from it thanks to these things in our graveyard. But that would be bad. If that's their out, it will wipe our whole board. Alright, looks like we're okay. So we can get one of them out of the way with Locked in the Cemetery. And I guess we probably get rid of the Stinger because it's a better blocker. Making it so our stuff can't die when it attacks, it's going to make for much better attacks, so... Are they going to try to exile stuff in response? There's enough stuff in there that I don't think that works. Well, they did play Electric Revelation, and they may have drawn both those small things. Okay. I think that... Does that keep them alive? No. I was like, no, it doesn't. Alright, so... Deck is performing... Overperforming, maybe? I mean... It's definitely... We've definitely had good variance on our side for the most part with this deck. And that has certainly contributed to its good win record. But I'll take it, you know. Like, it can go both ways. So, getting this thing to 6... Like, this will be our last game with this deck one way or another. Maybe we even... maybe we even get to 7. That'd be good. Right, good hand. Good little hand. I'm glad artifact synergy is not a thing in this format because those would be pretty scary. So, I'm trying to decide if I want to play the Liberator here. It probably just eats Silverbolt because it can blow up Silverbolt anyway. So is it actually a little better to play Unblinking Observer? Probably not. I think we still play the Liberator. Either way, it trades 1-for-1 with Silverbolt. So, yeah. I mean, it's not perfect. But, uh-oh. Well, if we can't kill that, we might be in for some trouble here. I should have blown... I didn't have the mana. This thing is an insane card draw engine. Maybe the best uncommon in the set, so... yeah. So I could blow up Silverbolt now, but they would draw a card. So, yeah. I think we play Falcon Abomination here. Another problem, by the way, with our Trapped in the Graveyards doesn't deal with this card at all. Like, I think Clear Shot's our only card that deals with this. There's too many cards in this format that have powerful ETB or static abilities. I mean, you know, Trapped in the Graveyard has done us some good, and it's not an unplayable card. It's just, in a lot of formats, that card would be premium removal or close to it. But in this format, not so much. So this is interesting. I hope they don't play anything. Ah, darn it. So if they hadn't played anything, this would have transformed, and I would have been able to take out Jack-o'-lantern, but they played something. Which I'm sure they were well aware that that was a possibility. Alright, so let's play our Gale Drifter here. Come on, our one clear shot. I think we're going to need you to win this game. Oh my god. This card brutalized us earlier today, and now it's doing it again. Also not dealt with by Trapped in the Graveyard, by the way. Goodness. Okay, so... I'm going to play Shadow Beast Sighting here. Our opponent isn't having serious mana problems, but they're having some. I guess I'll take it. Yeah. Exile or Shadow Beast Sighting. Freaking Morbid Opportunist. So now they're going to transform it. Oh, no, they're not. Just kidding. They decided not to. So, let's go to combat. I doubt they use Gavany Trapper, but... yeah. We'll play another flyer, I guess, here. Would have been better for me if they had tapped our Outland Liberator for some reason, but... I'm getting wrecked by Morbid Opportunist. That is usually what happens. You get wrecked. They must be playing the draw a card guy in their second main phase. Because there's no other reason to attack with Gavany Trapper. So they're going to play that, draw 2. Pay it. 1 mana 2/2 that draws you a card is pretty good. Well... okay. I think we're losing this one handily. Maybe I'll try to mill myself out before they can kill me. Seems like a good plan, right? It does, in a technical sense, increase our chances of drawing our clear shot if we play these, but there's also, you know, variance, and there's a chance we could mill our clear shot. But I think we still do it. We're in desperate need of it, yeah. So we didn't mill our clear shot, which is good. We did mill some other stuff, but even though these cards are sweet, I don't think they would have done much to help us in this game. So... I don't think it's worth attacking with our Gale Drifter there. So we have increased our chances of drawing our clear shot. At this point, so at this point, what would I kill if I did draw it is the question. The Cathar would give us back our flyer. This is a card drawing engine. I think I would kill the Cathar. I think it gives us a better chance. Having to kill both is rough because when I kill their Cathar, they're going to draw a card. So, you know, we're not in a very good situation if you haven't gathered that. Rise of the Ants could help. It would probably stabilize, you're probably right, but eventually they would outgrind us with Morbid Opportunist / Brutal Cathar transforming back and forth. So I don't think... It would definitely make it so we don't die as soon. But I think we would still die, is the thing. We'd still lose. We're not attacking. They even have a clue over there, you know? As if they haven't drawn enough cards. So they may just pass here. Transforming all three of these is pretty spicy. Yeah. And we draw a land. Like I said, variance has very much been in our favor this draft, so I can't complain too much about this. And as I've been saying this game, even with an optimal draw, I don't know that we beat this deck the way things have played out. I don't know if we would have beaten them. I don't think we would have. We're just going to take 8. I mean, we have basically no hope if we double block here. I mean, we basically have no hope anyway, but I think our chances of winning go down even lower. I think it's, well, I don't know, because they can attack me again next turn and give me the same problems. Plus they have Gavany Trapper to tap down 2 blockers. Yeah. They wrecked us. Get wrecked. That's okay. Yeah. 6 and 3 is great with that deck, frankly. It definitely wasn't a bad deck. You know, I said 4 or 5 wins was my prediction, and we got to 6. So I'll take it. Good day so far. First 2 drafts, 5 and 3 and 6 and 2. 6 and 3, rather. The main thing